Welcome back to the second edition of Psych 233 Past Questions Review. As you already know, we have released a video on 2022-2023 academic year past question. That was our first set of questions, and this is the part 2, and it's going to be centered on 2021-2022 academic year past question. We'll walk you through the various multiple choice questions, which are 40 multiple choice questions, and then 20 feelings, and then the theory. So we are going to do everything with you, so just stay connected and watch the video to an end. Make sure you share the video with your friends, whosoever that you are close with, or any of your platforms. Share it in your academic platforms. And if you want to get videos like this, or you want to actually get the links to all our videos, I've already created a WhatsApp channel, so you can check my bio or check the comment section. I'm going to drop the link there so you can follow us. It's not a WhatsApp group that people be chatting plenty. It's purposely for Johnson Praise TV, the videos and all those stuff. So when you follow us on WhatsApp, everything that we are doing, you also have access, or you actually would be updated on the kind of styles we do, the videos and everything. Some of them will be useful to you, so make sure you follow us on WhatsApp. And before I also start, I want to let you know that this course is not an easy course, as we all know. So I believe that you pay attention to whatever we are doing, so at the end of the day we can all come out with what a flying colors. So I know and I believe that you are going to make it. So let us continue. Let us start with our discussion or our review. So I'm starting from 41, since we ended at the first video. We tackled only 40 questions, and this one I'm going to also tackle the other 40 multiple choice questions. So let's move on. It says that what part of a neuron is responsible for receiving information? What part of a neuron is responsible for receiving information? This one we have already solved. Those who watched the first video, you should be able to tell. So if you have already watched the first video, drop the answer. Which one is it? Axon? Is it terminal fiber? Is it dendrite or myelin sheath? Which one is the answer? Is it A, B, C, or D? If you believe it is A, drop the comment section. If you believe it's B or C or D, kindly drop it under the comment section. I will go through it if you are right. And you know, it's also a way to test you whether you understand or you've been following whatever we are doing. So yes, and this question that has been repeating, so you have to be abreast with the answer. So the answer here is what dendrite, because we have already solved it, and I explained that one to you in the previous video, so you can check that video, and everything is going to be all right. So 42, the nature of a nerve impulse is an dash event, whereas the nature of a communication of the communication between neurons is an event. So which one? So they have given you A, chemical and electrical, B, acetylchlorine, and then what? Catech what? Catecholamine, right? And then we have what? Electrical and chemical, we have dendrite and axon. So which one is the answer here? So the answer, it says what? Dash is what? Dash is the nature of what? The nature of a nerve impulse. Okay, the nature of a nerve impulse is an dash event, whereas what the nature of the communication between neurons is an event of what? So which one is the answer? Is it A, B, C, or D? So the answer here is C, which is what? Electrical and chemical. So the nature of a nerve impulse is electrical event, whereas the nature of the communication between the two neurons is what? It is also what? A chemical event. It's a chemical event. So That is the answer. So electrical, chemical is the answer. Let's look at number. Okay, so let's look at number 44. I think this one wasn't what. That one wasn't, and it wasn't a question. So instead of 43, we are moving to 44. So ventricles are this one too. I made you answer it. I asked you to answer this question, and I think that was the first video was question 7. A lot of you drop comment. Yeah, I saw it. So ventricles are A, fluid filled cavities in the brain. Okay, so this is what, this is the answer. So ventricles, they are what, fluid filled cavities in the brain. So the answer is what, A. That's why I didn't underline it. So they are what, fluid filled cavities. Let's look at number 45. Number 45, it says that the white matter of the brain is composed of, we have dendrites, we have cell bodies, we have what, synapses, and we have what, myelinated axons. So which one is the answer? The answer is myelinated axons. So the myelinated axons, okay, let's look at it. The spinal cord comprises of the spinal cord comprises of what, gray matter located in the center of the spinal cord, and it is packed with cells, body, and dendrite. White matter is composed of mainly white matter is composed mainly of myelinated axons that carries important information from the gray matter to the brain or other areas of the spinal cord. So the answer is what, myelinated axons. So the white matter of the brain is composed of myelinated axons. Let's look at 46. The part of the neuron that specializes in receiving messages from other neurons is the what? So we have axons, we have myelin, we have what, axon terminal, we have dendrite. So the answer is what, dendrite. Why is it dendrite? So the dendrites specialize in receiving messages from the neurons, right? So they specialize what, they specializes in receiving messages from the neurons. So the answer here is dendrite. So when they ask you the part of the neurons that specializes in receiving messages from other neurons, it is what, the dendrite. They receive, right? 47. A nerve curve cell carrying information from your brain to muscles gland is called a nerve cell carrying information from your brain to muscles and gland is called, we have what, connector neuron, we have effector neuron, we have sensory neuron, we have motor neuron. So it is what, motor neuron. So let's look at a motor neuron. Motor neurons, they carry information from the brain to muscles and gland, and also they are also referred to what, efferent. So the motor neurons are what, they are also referred to as what, efferent. So the work of what, the motor neuron is to what, to carry information from your brain to muscles and then the gland. That is the answer. Number 48. The brain's ability to change in response to experience or damage is called, the brain's ability to change in response to experience or damage is called, we have what, literalization, we have what, learning, we have neuroplasticity, okay, and we have functionality. So the answer is what, neuroplasticity. So why is it neuroplasticity? So the neuroplasticity refers to the brain's ability to recognize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. The process allows the brain to adapt to changes, learn new information, and recover from injuries or damages. So that is what the answer. So looking at the options here that really fit, okay, into the brain's ability to change in response to what, experience or damage is what we call what? Neuroplasticity. So take note of this. Let's move to 49. Electrical stimulation of the reticular formation would most likely cause an animal to electrical stimulation of the what? The reticular formation would most likely cause an animal to A, sneeze, B, become blind, C, wake up if it had been sleeping, and then D, stop breathing. So the answer here is what? Wake up if it had been sleeping. So the reticular formation is a region in the what? The brain stem involving what? Regulating arousal and what? Consciousness. Electrical stimulation of a particular formation can activate the brain and increase arousal levels, thereby causing the animal to wake up if it had been sleeping. So it is what? The electrical stimulation in a reticular formation most likely cause an animal to what? To wake up if it has been sleeping. So that is the answer. So number 50, neurotransmitters are primarily associated with A, soma, B, synapse, okay. And then we have production of iron proteins, and we have what? Neuroglia, okay, neuroglia. So the answer is what? So the answer here is synapse, okay, synapse or synapse, yeah, synapse. So with the synapse, the neurotransmitters are primarily associated with what? The synapse. The synapse is the junction between two neurons where communication occurs. So when we talk about the synapse, they are a junction between two neurons where communication occurs. So neurotransmitters are chemical messengers that are released from what? The presynaptic neuron into what? Into the synaptic cleft and behind the receptor on the postsynaptic neuron, transmitting signal across the synapse. And then let's look at number 50. Which lobe is most likely associated with what? Visual processing. Which lobe is most likely associated with what? Visual processing. So it is what? Is the So I made a mistake. The one I highlighted, that's not the answer. It is what? The occipital lobe. Okay, so the occipital lobe is primarily what? Associated for visual processing. Okay, it contains the primary and what? Association visual context. So it what? It contains the primary and what? Association visual context. So that is what? The answer. So the occipital lobe. And then let's look at the 52. What do positron emission tomography scans measure? So what the PET, that's the PET, what does the PET scan measure? Or what does the positron emission tomography scans measure? So they measure what? Metabolic and electrical activity. That is their function. The PET measures metabolic and electrical activities. So areas that are metabolically active emit a lot of what? Energy. Those that are less active emit less energy. So that is the function of what? The PET. Okay. I mean the scan, the PET scan measures what? The metabolic and electrical activity. Let's look at number 53. What effect do neurotransmitters from one neuron have on the next neuron? So what effect do they have? So we have what? They have no effect. We have they excite and we have what? They inhibit. Okay, so or they inhibit. So let's look at it. So it is, and then the D is what? Excite and what? Inhibit. So the answer is what? they excite and inhibit. So let's look at that. Neurotransmitters can have what, excitatory or what, exhibitory effect on the next neuron, depending on the types of what neurotransmitters and the receptors present on postsynaptic neuron. So excitatory neurotransmitters increase the likelihood that the postsynaptic neuron will fire an action potential, while inhibitory neurotransmitters decrease this likelihood. So that is what the point. Let's look at number 54. The influx control centers for vital life functions like heart rate and breathing are found in the influx control centers for vital life functions like heart rate and breathing are found in the we have what, the forebrain, we have medulla, we have reticular activating system, we have what, pituitary gland. So the answer is medulla. And with the medulla, we are specific about what, the medulla oblongata. We have other form of medulla, which are what, the renal medulla and then adrenal medulla. But what we are talking about is what, the medulla oblongata. So the medulla, specifically the oblongata, is a region where the is a region of what, of the brain stem that controls many vital functions, including the heart rate, breathing, and blood pressure. So it contains what, reflex control centers that regulate these autonomic functions, ensuring the body contains what, homeostasis and survival. Okay, so the reflex control centers for vital life function that the heart rate and breathing are found in is the medulla. So when they come, they ask you the reflex control centers for vital life functions like the heart rate and breathing are found in it is what, it is the medulla. Number 55. What is meant by the term hyperpolarized? Okay, what is meant by the term hyperpolarized? So hyperpolarized is the answer is what, a more negative membrane potential compared to what, the resting potential. So that is the answer. So hyperpolarized is what, is a negative membrane potential compared to the resting potential. So that is the answer. The rest of the options are wrong. So hyperpolarization refers to a change in the memory potential of a cell, making it more negative than the resting potential. This occurs when the cell's membrane become more permeable to potassium ion, which is K plus, or chloride ions, that is Cl negative, or less permeable to sodium ions. Okay, causing an influx to positive ions or influx to negative ions. So that is the answer. Let's look at 56. The reason why males are likely to have facial hair and females don't have facial hair is because of so why is it that male are likely to have what, facial hair, but female are not really having facial hair? So the answer is what, the presence of what, testosterone, okay, in males. So the answer is what, the presence of what, testosterone in males. So testosterone are hormone primarily produced in the test in males and in smaller amounts in the ovaries and the adrenal glands in female. Facial hair growth or beard growth is primarily influenced by what, the presence of what, the hormone testosterone. Testosterone is the present in higher levels in males than the females, and it plays a significant role in stimulating the growth of facial hair during puberty and throughout adulthood. So that is the answer. So the answer here is what, presence of what, testosterone in male. Because of that, we are likely to have more hair hair on our face than the female because of the presence of testosterone. Let's look at 57. If you raise your hand, which is voluntary action, which subsystem would most likely control this behavior? So if you raise your hand, which is what? The voluntary action, which subsystem would most likely control this behavior? So the answer is what? Somatic. So when you talk about the somatic nervous system controls what? The voluntary movement, like raising your hands. It consists of motor neurons that transmit signals from the central nervous system, that is the brain and the spinal cord, and the skeletal muscles, allowing for conscious control of movement. So that is the answer. The answer is what? Somatic. So it's not peripheral nor how do you call it? Autonomic or what? The sympathetic by this word, the somatic. 58 says that a person who is drunk may have difficulty in walking in a straight line because the alcohol has impacted their the cerebellum. Okay, the cerebellum. So it has what? Impacted their cerebellum. Okay, cerebellum. So that is the answer. So when you talk about the cerebellum, it is primarily responsible for coordinating the voluntary movement, maintaining balance, and fine-tuning motor skills. Which, when a person is drunk, alcohol affects the functioning of the cerebellum, impairing its ability to coordinate movement effectively. As a result, the person may experience difficulties with balance, coordination, and walking in a straight line. So anytime you see someone walking and we moving here, there's what? There's no coordination between how the person is doing, and it is what? Because of the alcohol, it has affected the functioning of the cerebellum. So impairing its ability to coordinate movement effectively. So that is the answer. Let me give you a try question here. Animals with lesions of the ventromedial hypothalamus. Okay, this one we have done it before. It came in the other past question, so it is here again. Animals with lesions what? Animals with what? Lesions of what? Ventromedial hypothalamus. Lesions of what? Lesions of ventromedial hypothalamus. What do they do? And I told you, if you know the answer, 59, drop it under the comment section. I'll review it for you. So what is the answer? They lose weight and will die unless forced. They show a marked increase in the body, will eat almost everything, appear to be always hungry, and will work hard to obtain food rewards. So I said the answer is what? Will eat almost everything. Number 60. The fatty layer of tissue that gives many nerves or whitish color is called myelin. Okay, so fatty layer or tissue that gives many nerves a whitish color is called what? Myelin. So fatty layer of tissue that gives many nerves a whitish color is called what? The myelin. A myelin is a substance made up of lipids and proteins that forms an insulating shelf around certain nerve fibers known as axons in the nervous system. The myelin shelf helps to speed up the transmission of nerve impulses along the axons and provide protection and support to nerve fibers. So that is the answer. The answer is what? Myelin. Myelin is not the rest of the options I've mentioned. The prefrontal cortex is known as what? Executive function. This one too, we solve it. So when you talk about the prefrontal cortex, it is the same as what? It is involved in what? Executive function. It's not the same as executive function, but it is involved in executive function, Executive function is combination of functions, which I explained to you in the previous video. So you can check that video and you get the clear understanding. I think it came in the feeling and I explained that one to you. So let's look at the prefrontal cortex. So these are the options. So the prefrontal cortex, so they are responsible for higher functions such as abstract thinking and planning. So they are that is one of the prefrontal cortex, and it is also responsible for our ability to remember recent events and information, which is working memory, and it allows for regulation and impulse behaviors and control of more complex behavior. Together, these cognitive functions are known as what? Executive functions. So all these three key functions that I've mentioned, when you put them together, they are what? They are known as what? Executive functions. So when they come together, they involve in what? The executive function. Number 62, which is the most common neurotransmitter in the brain? So the most common neurotransmitter in the brain is what? The glutamate. Glutamate is what? The most common neurotransmitter in the brain. Put it at the back of your mind. The glutamate is what? The most common neurotransmitter in the brain. So glutamate is the most abundant neurotransmitter in the brain, responsible for the vast majority of oscillatory synaptic transmission. It plays crucial role in the various brain functions, including learning, memory, and synaptic plasticity. Glutamate is involved in the majority of neural pathways and is essential for normal brain function. So let's look at 63. Dopamine. Okay, dopamine is associated with voluntary movement. Which of the following is likely caused by dopamine depletion? So if it is caused by dopamine depletion, it is what? Called Parkinson's disease. Any effect that is what? Caused by dopamine depletion is what? Parkinson's what? Disease. Okay, Parkinson's disease. So that is the answer. So Parkinson's disease is caused by the denigration of what? Dopamine producing neurons in the substantia nigra region of the brain. The dopamine depletion leads to what? Leads to the characteristic motor symptoms of Parkinson's disease, including what? Tremors, rigidity, and what? And bradykinesia, right? Which is what? Slowish in movement, and what? Postural instability. So that is the answer. Number 64. Which part of the autonomic nervous system calms you down? Which part of the autonomic nervous system calms you down? We have the central nervous system. We have what? The synaptic nervous system. We have somatic nervous system, and the E is what? Parasympathetic what? Nervous system. Parasympathetic what? Nervous system. So the answer is parasympathetic nervous system. That calms you down. So the parasympathetic nervous system is responsible for promoting a rest and digest response, which helps to calm the body down and conserve energy. It opposes the action of the sympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for the fight response. Activation of the parasympathetic nervous system leads to a decreased heart rate, relaxation of muscles, increased digestion, and nutrient absorption. Overall what? Realization of the body. So it is what? Parasympathetic nervous system that calms you down. Number 65. Heart rate, digestion. People dilation are involuntary process controlled by dash nervous system. So heart rate, digestion, people dilation, and involuntary processes controlled by which of the nervous system, or which system? Okay, so we have what? Autonomic, we have what? Automatic, we have peripheral, we have somatic. So the answer is what? Autonomic. It's not automatic. Pay attention between the automatic and autonomic. They are not the same. If you are not careful, you know it is autonomical, but you may be tempted to choose what? Automatic. There's nothing like automatic what? Nervous system, but we have what? Autonomic nervous system. So pay attention to the spelling. So when you get them, you don't make a mistake. So the autonomic nervous system, which is under the sympathetic nervous system, okay, so it increases what? Heart rate, blood pressure, respiration. That's fight or flight. Okay, fight or flight response. And so all these things are what? Autonomic. They are under the autonomic nervous system. Number 66. Which part of the limbic system is involved in an animal's feeling of hunger? Which part of the limbic system is involved in an animal's feeling of hunger? We have thalamus, we have pons, we have what? Hippocampus, and we have what? Hypothalamus. So the answer is what? Hypothalamus. So hypothalamus is crucial part of the limbic system, which involve in regulating various physiological processes, including hunger and appetite. It contains specialized what? Nuclei that receive signal related to hunger and what? Satiety from what? From the body and other brain regions. So the answer is what? Hypothalamus. So if it is what? The question says that which part of the limbic system is involved in an animal's feeling for hunger, then it is what? The hypothalamus. Look, pay attention. We have what? Hippocampus. So we have hypothalamus. So we have thalamus. So the answer is hypothalamus and not hippocampus. Number 67. If one parent is recessive for sickle cell and other is not, which are the chances of them producing a child with sickle cell disease? Okay, if one is recessive and then the other one is what? Is not. What are their chances of what? Producing what? Producing a child with sickle cell. Okay, so the answer is what? 0. The answer is 0. Why the answer is 0? Because the child will receive what? One gene from what? One carrier parent. And for that matter, the person cannot the person chances of having that sickle cell disease is what? Is 0. But if it is from both parents, right? The sickle cell from both parents, then it will be 25%, right? So that is it. Which neurotransmitter affect mood, hunger, sleep, and arousal? So it's not acetylcholine, but it is what? Serotonin. So the serotonin is what? A neurotransmitter that plays a crucial role in regulating mood, appetite, hunger, sleep, and arousal. It involves in mood regulation, with lower levels of serotonin being associated with feelings of depression and anxiety. So the answer is what? Serotonin is if what? It affects what? Hunger, mood, sleep, and what? Arousal. Number 69. Peter was diagnosed with nervous system disorder. His doctor explained to him that his brain is what? Releasing neurotransmitters. The neurotransmitters are not being received. This means that his neurons most likely have which of the following malfunctioning? So it is what? Dendrite. The person is what? Peter is what? Was diagnosed, and the doctor explained to him that he is releasing what? Neurotransmitters. Okay. So which neurotransmitter is it not being received, right? Which neurotransmitter is it not really? So it is what? A dendrite. So if Peter's neurons are what? Are releasing neurotransmitters but are not being received, it suggests that the malfunction in the receiving end of the synaptic connection. Okay, The neurotransmitters are being released from the axon's terminal of one neuron and received by what? The dendrite or cell body of another neurons at what? A synapse. So the dendrite contain what? A receptor site where neurotransmitters bind to initiate a response in the synaptic neuron. So the answer is what? Dendrite. Let's look at 70. Which type which type of cell communicates within the nervous system and process information between incoming and outgoing messages? So it is what? Interneuron. Okay, interneuron. Okay, the answer is what? Interneuron. So if it has to do with what? It have to do with what? And the process of information between what? The process of information between incoming and outgoing messages, then is what? The interneuron. Interneuron. The interneuron are specialized neurons within the nervous system that communicate between sensory neurons, okay, which receives information from the environment or the body's internal state, and motor neurons, which send signal to muscles or gland to produce what? A response. Interneurons process and what? Integrate incoming signals, and sensory neurons and outgoing signals. So the answer is what? Interneuron. Let's look at 71. After a car accident, Rodri had what? A lot of difficulty planning his day. What is most likely the result of damage to which lobe? So it is frontal lobe. His damage, there's been what? A damage to what? His frontal lobe. So after the car accident, he had a lot of difficulty planning his day. It's because of what? There has been damage to what? His frontal lobe. So the frontal lobe of the brain is primarily responsible for higher cognitive functions, including what? Executive functions such as planning, decision making, problem solving, and attention control. Damage to the frontal lobe can lead to deficit in these functions, resulting in difficulties which planning and analyzing daily activities. So it is what? The frontal lobe. Number 72. Which part of the endocrine system, sometimes called master gland, which part of the endocrine, right? Which part of the endocrine system is sometimes called the master gland? It is what? The pituitary gland. The pituitary gland. So when you talk about the pituitary gland, it is often referred to as the master gland because it plays what? A role in regulating the functions of many other endocrine what? Glands in the body. It secretes various hormones that controls growth, reproduction, metabolism, and other physiological processes. So number 72, the limbic system includes. So the limbic system. So this is the limbic system. If you don't know, so let's look at the whole thing. It includes what? The hypothalamus. We have pituitary gland. We have what? Amygdala. We have what? Hippocampus. So let's look at the options. Okay, pituitary, medulla. No, medulla is not part. Amygdala. We have hypothalamus, and then we have what? Hippocampus here. Number 1. Number 2 isn't option. Number 3 isn't option. Number 4 isn't option. So the answer is A. Number 74. Multiple sclerosis. Okay, sclerosis is caused by the breakdown of a specific element of neurons. Which of the following is correct element? Is the correct what? Element. So we have neurotransmitter receptors. We have cell body. We have myelin and cell axons. We have what? Synaptic vesicles. So multiple sclerosis, that is MAS, is an autoimmune disorder characterized by destruction of the myelin sheath, the protective covering that surrounds axon, that is the projections of neurons that transmit electrical signals. So the the demyelination disrupts the normal transmission of nerve impulses, leading to a variety of what neurological what symptoms. So the answer is what? The answer is what? After reading this one, I didn't underline what is the answer. Number 72. I've read everything and I mentioned the key things here for you. So what is the answer? Multiple sclerosis is an autoimmune disorder characterized by what? The distraction of the myelin sheath, the productive covering, the protective covering that surrounds axons, projecting the neurons that transmit electrical signals. The demyelination disrupts the normal transmission of nerve impulses, leading to a variety of what? Neurological symptoms. So what is the answer? Number 70, number 70, 72, 74, right? 74. What is the answer? So the answer is, if you drop the comment, then I'm marking it for you. The answer is what? Myelin and not axons. Myelin and axons. 75 is a chemical messenger released into the bloodstream. It's slow but long-standing, which is what? The answer is hormone, not alcohol, not acetylcholine, not neurotransmitter, but it's what? Hormones. So hormones are your body's chemical messengers. They travel in your bloodstreams to tissues or organs. They work slowly over time and affect many different processes, including growth and development. So it is what? Hormone. So the chemical messenger released into the bloodstream is slow but long-standing is what? The hormone. Number 76, the structure in the neural communication process passes through its branches. So okay, so which structure of the neural communication process messages through its branches? So which of them? The answer here is axon. So the axon is a part of the neuron responsible for conducting electrical impulses away from what? The cell body toward other neurons or target cells. Axons have multiple branches known as what? Axon terminals or axons collaterals, which allow the transmission of messages to multiple target neurons or cells simultaneously. And then number 77, okay, to which main brain system does the hypothalamus belongs to? It is what? The limbic system. Hypothalamus belongs to the limbic system. So hypothalamus is a structure located within the limbic system of the brain. Limbic system is involved in the various functions, including what? Memory formation, emotion regulation, and spatial navigation. The hypothalamus, in which it plays what? Crucial role in formation and consolidation of long-term memories and spatial navigation. So number 78, the effect of what? Benzodiazepines. Okay, benzodiazepines is to reduce anxiety, and therefore they are agonists for this. One also came in the first question I saw. So if you know, drop the answer. What is the answer? What is the correct answer for number 78? The effect of what? Benzodiazepines is to reduce anxiety, and therefore they are antagonists. The agonists for GABA. We have dopamine. We have acetylcholine. We have adenosine. So which one is the answer? I won't mention the answer for you, right? So the benzodiazepines, okay, benzodiazepines are what? Medications that are commonly used to reduce anxiety and produce relaxation. They work by enhancing the activity of what? Gamma aminobutyric, how do you call it? That is the GABA, right? The gamma aminobutyric acid. the primary inhibitory neurotransmitters in the central nervous system. The GABA functions to reduce what? Excitability, okay? Excitability of neurons, leading to what? Calming effects in the brain. So the answer is what? GABA. GABA, that is what? GABA. So number 79, which of the following is not X-linked genetic condition in humans? So it is what? Sickle cell anemia, not the rest. It is what? Sickle cell anemia. It is not linked to what? Genetic conditions in humans. And then so sickle cell anemia is not linked to what? Genetic conditions. It is autosomal recessive order caused by what? Mutations in the HBB gene on chromosome 11. Okay. 80. Testosterone is what? Is to estrogen is to what? So okay, there was a dash. Testosterone is to what? Dash. And then estrogen is to dash. So I didn't really frame the question well. That's why you have to type everything new. So that is why these things are just like that. So testosterone is dash. And then so testosterone is a male hormone and primarily produced in the test. Okay, well estrogen is what? A female sex hormone, primarily produced what? In the ovaries. So we have what? Test and ovaries. Okay, test, so that is B. Testis, right? The testis, and then the ovaries. So let me take the questions again. The testosterone is to dash, and then estrogen is to what? Dash. So we have what? So the testosterone is what? A male sex hormone primarily produced in the testes, while the estrogen is a female sex hormone produced in the ovaries. So that is the answer. So number 80, okay. Schizophrenia and Parkinson's disease are both linked to changes in which neurotransmitter. So which of them is the answer? So this one, what is the answer for number 80? Drop the answer under the comment section. This one, I think it has also been solved already. This one has been solved. Okay. Schizophrenia and Parkinson's disease are both linked to what? To which neurotransmitter? Which of them are they really linked to? Okay, so let me know your answer. Is it serotonin? Okay, or is it what? Glutamate? Is it dopamine or acetylcholine? Which of them is the answer? So let's see. Drop it under the comment section. Normal. Oh, you want me to mention? Okay. Let's move forward. Let's do the option B. So you have to solve what? 20 multiple choice questions, and that's filling questions, right? So describe the main function of the myelin sheath in the nervous system. So the answer is, so the function of the main function of the myelin sheath is to insulate and protect nerve fibers. Also what? Spreading upward the transmission of nerve impulses. So the function of the myelin sheath is to protect what? The nerve fibers. So if you have pen, you can put all these things down. Number two, that is the feeling. Describe one function of what? Glial cell. Okay, the glial cell. So one function of the glial cell is to provide support and nourishment to neurons in the nervous system. So the glial cells, their function is to provide support and nourishment to the neurons in the nervous system. So that is the answer. Number 3, describe one effect of what or disease that have result from a loss of what? Myelin sheath. So you what? one effect. So one effect or disease that results from what? A loss of myelin sheath is multiple sclerosis. So here you write what? Multiple sclerosis, that is MS. So what is the basic distinction between sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system? So we want the distinctions. What are the differences between the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system? So the basic distinction between the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system is their opposing effect on physiological functions. The sympathetic nervous system is responsible for the fight or flight response, which what prepares the body for action in response to stress or danger, while the parasympathetic nervous system is responsible for the rest and digest response, which promotes relaxation and conserves energy. So I want to also let you know, as we continue, if you have a brother or a sister that wants to go outside, travel outside, please link the person to us. That is Global Assurance Travels. Okay, we are a reliable traveling agency, and if you need any of these services, kindly link up, contact me on 0545 412017, and I'll get in touch with you. I'll send you our offers for you to go through. We have for visa before payment, payment before visa, and payment in installment. So all of these things: US, UK, Canada, Serbia, we have Poland, Singapore, Mongolia, Vietnam, and Dubai. All these things we have for first day. So please, let's move forward. Number 4, what are the main where in the brain does the planning take place? Where in the brain does planning take place? So planning primarily takes place in the frontal lobe of the brain. So it takes place in what? The frontal lobe. That's why if your frontal lobe is damaged, you find it your day will be disorganized. So the frontal lobe is responsible for that. Selection. So select what? One hormone and describe its most basic function. So one hormone is insulin. So we are using what? Insulin. So insulin and its most function is to what? Regulate blood sugar levels by what? Facilitating the uptake of glucose and bloodstream cells, where it can be used for energy or stored for later use. So here you can just make it simple. You can just what? Use insulin, and the function of insulin is what? Regulate what? Blood sugar. It's simple. You are good to go. See what? Regulate what? Blood sugar. It's just they don't need much explanation from you. That's why I made this one simple as compared to the previous one. Describe one biological cause of intellectual development disorder, that is IDD. So one cause of the intellectual biological disorder is genetic abnormalities such as what? Chromosomal disorder, like Down syndrome. So here, when they ask you about the biological causes of intellectual development disorder, you can what? You can use what? Genetic abnormalities, such as what? The chromosomal disorders like the Down syndrome. Then let's look at number 7. With one example, describe what is inherent by sex-linked trait or disorder. So with one example, describe what is meant by what? Sex-linked trait or disorder. So a sex-linked trait or disorder is characteristic or condition that is determined by genes located in the sex chromosome, which is X or Y. One example of sex-linked trait or disorder is green what? Color blindness. Okay, red-green what? Color blindness, which is more common in males because the gene for color vision is located in the X chromosome. Number 8. What is the role of dopamine in the cause of schizophrenia? What is the role of dopamine? Dopamine in what? In the cause of what? Schizophrenia. So the role is what? The regulation in certain brain, whereas so the dopamine, the function of what, the question says that what is what the role of what dopamine in the cause of what schizophrenia. So dopamine, this regulation in certain brain areas is believed to contribute to what schizophrenia. So that is the answer. Let's look at number 9. What is the role of sodium? What is the role of sodium in the depolarization of the membrane of the neuron? So the sodium ions play a key role in the depolarization of the neuron membrane by moving to the neuron through what voltage gated sodium channel in response to what to stimulus. Number 9, myelin wraps around axons to speed up what the neural impulse and what. So the number 10 says that what myelin wraps around axons to speed up what neural impulse and to what. So myelin wraps around the axon to insulate and protect them. So the answer is what? To insulate and protect them. Number 11, a drug that blocks the effect of neurotransmitter at the synapse. Okay, the synapse causes what? Causes an inhibitory. Okay, inhibitory what? So that is the question. So a drug that blocks the effect of a neurotransmitter at the synapses. The synapse what causes an inhibitory what? So a drug that blocks the effect of a neurotransmitter at the synapse causes what? Inhibitory effect, right? So it causes inhibitory effect. Inhibitory what? Effect. So it causes inhibitory effect. So forgive me for the pronunciation. It is inhibitory, not inhibitory, as I said earlier. It's inhibitory. Number 12, postsynaptic potential, which is what IPSP, can be referred to as what? So postsynaptic potential can be referred to as what? Hyperpolarization. So that is IPSP can be referred to what? To hyperpolarization. Postsynaptic potential can be referred to as hyperpolarization. Number 13, what is referred to as a cortical blindness? What is referred? So we want a definition for a cortical blindness. So cortical blindness refers to what? The loss of vision due to damage to the visual processing areas of the brain, particularly the occipital lobe of the cerebral cortex. So that is the answer. Number 14, when the drug referred to as agonist, what does it mean? So a drug refers to as an agonist is when it binds to a receptor and what activate it. Okay, so when the drug what binds to what a receptor and activate it, mimicking the action of the endogenous ligand. Okay, so when they say a drug is referred to what agonist, it means that the drug what it binds to what a receptor and activate it, mimicking what the action of the endogenous what gland. Number 15, how does glucose regulate hunger or eating behavior? So glucose regulates hunger or eating behavior by affecting the activity of certain brain regions, such as what the hypothalamus, that controls appetite safety. When the glucose levels or drop, it signals what hunger, prompting the individual to eat and replenish energy stores. So it says what? Why does the thalamus, or say number 16, why is the thalamus a very important structure in the brain? So thalamus is very important structure in the brain because it serves as what? It serves as a replay center for sensory information. directing incoming sensory signals to the appropriate regions and cerebral cortex for processing. So that is what it does. Number 17, what is uh, literal liberalization of the brain? So what is what? Literal liberalization of what the brain. So number 17, what is it? Okay, sorry, 17, I couldn't really solve the 17 for you. What is what? Literal liberalization of the brain. Let's look at number 18, but I'll drop the answer under the comment section for you. Number 18, describe one disadvantage of the use of computerized axial tomography. So what is what? Okay, I think the literalization. I think I've missed the answer. So the number 17 is rather here. So literalization in the brain refers to what? Specialization of function in each hemisphere, which certain cognitive processes being more dominant in one hemisphere than the other. So when you talk about what? The literalization of the literal liberalization of what? The brain. So it's what? That is the so that is what the answer. So the literalization, okay, the literalization is what? It refers to what? It refers to the specialization of function in each hemisphere, which certain cognitive processes being more dominant in one hemisphere than the other. So that is the answer. Number 18, which is what? A disadvantage of what? A computerized axial tomography. I think that's the one I rather skip. So let's look at number 19. What is the function of a corpus callosum? What is what? The function of what? A corpus callosum. So the function of a corpus callosum is to facilitate communication and transfer of information between two hemispheres of the brain. So that is the function of what? The corpus callosum. It's what? It is to facilitate communication and transfer of information between two hemispheres of the brain. Number 20. What is what? What is the Bell's Magendie's law or principle? Okay, Bell-Magendie. Okay, what is Bell-Magendie's law or principle? So Bell-Magendie law or principle is known as what? The the Bell-Magendie law is known as what? The Bell-Magendie law, the Bell-Magendie principle. It states that the dorsal root of the spinal cord carry sensory information, which is what? Afferent signal into the spinal cord, while the ventral root carry motor information out of what? The spinal cord. So you can put it in a simple way that he stated that the Bell-Magendie principle states that the dorsal root of the spinal cord carry what? Sensory information into the spinal cord, while the ventral root carry motor information out of the spinal cord. So that is it. We are looking at the past question, the essay, and how we can do it. Say what? Select any genetic or chromosomal disorder and describe the causes. So you are going to select one genetic what? Or chromosomal disorder, and then you describe the causes, characteristics, and prognosis what? Of the disorder. You describe the prognosis of that disorder. So, and then number 2, it says that identify and describe in detail how information is transmitted from one neuron to another. So this is what so let's look at it. So I'm giving you some steps on how you can go. I'm only solving one for you, the first one. So first of all, you have to what? Read carefully. So take a moment to read carefully the essay and pay attention to specific instruction and guideline provided. Okay, and the 2, you have to bring some ideas. Think about what you already know about the Down syndrome, even if it is just a basic information, consider any related topic or concept you have learned about you have learned in class. And also plan the essay before you start writing. Take moment to plan the essay. Describe decide the points you want to cover and how you organize your thought. So okay, if you know outline, you can create this kind of outline to help you. And also in academic writing, you know already, so you have to keep it simple. And then these are some few steps. So now let's look at it. So we are coming to look at understanding the Down syndrome causes and characteristics of prognosis. So let's move on. So Down syndrome, also known as trisomy 21, is genetic disorder characterized by the presence of extra copy of chromosome 21. Okay, the essay aims to explore the causes, characteristics, and prognosis of Down syndrome, shedding light on its impact and implication for affected individual and their family. So that is what I've given you, the introduction and the thesis statement. Right, the thesis statements are from this essay aims to explore. Right, that is where the thesis statements start from. Let's look at the causes. So Down syndrome is primarily caused by chromosomal disjunction. Right, it is primarily caused by chromosomal non-disjunction, a genetic abnormality that leads to the presence of extra chromosome, that's 21. The additional genetic material disrupts normal development as result in the characteristic feature of the disorder, including intellectual disability, distinct facial features, and also increased risks for various health complications. So the characteristics, let's look at the characteristics. So individual with Down syndrome exhibit range of physical, cognitive, and developmental characteristics. Common physical feature include almond shaped eyes, flattened facial profile, and protruding tongue. Cognitive characteristics include intellectual disability with varying degree of impairment in cognitive function, learning, and language development. Additionally, individual with Down syndrome may experience delays in motor skills, speech development, and social emotional development. So let's look at the prognosis. Right, okay, so prognosis for individuals with Down syndrome depends on various factors, including severity of associated health complications and availability of support interventions. While individuals with Down syndrome may face challenges associated with intellectual and physical disability, many can lead fulfilling lives with appropriate medical care, education support, and supportive environment. Individuals with Down syndrome can achieve significant development milestones and participate actively in their communities. So let's look at the conclusion, and then we are good to go. So in conclusion, Down syndrome is a genetic disorder with complex causes, characteristics, and prognosis. By understanding the underlying genetic mechanisms, recognizing the diverse characteristics associated with the disorder, and providing comprehensive support and resources, we can enhance the quality of life for individuals with Down syndrome and promote inclusivity and acceptance in society. So continued research, advocacy, and education are essential for furthering our understanding of Down syndrome and improving outcomes for affected individuals and their families. So that is the end of the questions. So this is what I'm doing. If I will do some, it may not be now, but I wish you all the best in your exams. And these are the packages we have as a global assurance travels. You go through these packages. That is direct payments at Canada. So you make some payment. There are some too that you won't pay money. You only do the registration, and we will process the visa for you before you start, before you pay the rest for us. And if you also want to do study abroad, we have these special packages for you. So just get in touch with us, and we have some offers in Poland. All of them come with direct employment, and also with visa and other processing. All these things are part of our packages. Get in touch, contact us on 0545 401 2017, and we will attend to you. God bless you for your time. Thank you.